Former President Donald Trump is making 2 stops in Michigan today. He'll give a speech in Walker, which is a suburb of Grand Rapids, and then he'll hold a town hall in Warren, which is outside of Detroit. This is the former president's 11th visit to Michigan during this race. But before heading west, Trump sat down with Ukraine's president here in New York. It was in question whether the two would even meet during Zelensky's U.S. visit. Trump has been highly critical of funding to Ukraine and, at times, Zelenskyy himself. Ukraine's leader outlined the importance of the two meeting at this time to reporters. Here's what he said.
It was very important to share all the plan, all our steps, how we can strengthen Ukraine. And of course, we have to decide it now, because after November, we don't know who is. Only Americans decide who will be the president.
CBS News campaign reporter Olivia Rinaldi is in Walker, Michigan, covering the Trump campaign for us. Olivia, before we get to the rally, there was a sort of an interesting moment between Trump and Zelenskyy before the meeting when they talked to the media. Let's play that.
We have a very good relationship, and I also have a very good relationship, as you know, with President Putin. And I think if we win, I think we're going to get it resolved very quickly. I really think we're going to get it resolved.
I hope we have more good relations.
We're going to have. Oh, I see.
So remind us why this relationship is on somewhat shaky ground. What did Trump and Zelenskyy discuss?
Lindsay, they have an extremely fraught relationship going all the way back to 2019 in the first Trump administration. This goes back to that phone call Trump made to President Zelenskyy that was under investigation in the first impeachment trial, where he had pressured Zelenskyy into perhaps investigating, President Biden and some of his finances in Ukraine. So they've had a long, difficult relationship. But today the two were meeting for the first time since 2019, really to discuss the war in Ukraine and if Trump were to win, what that would look like, how that would end. Now, Trump has consistently complained and talked about the U.S. paying for the war in Ukraine and subsidizing it with weapons and aid as well, saying that other countries need to pitch in a lot more than the U.S. has, and talking about the outsized role that the U.S. is playing compared to the EU on things like military weapons. They're meeting us on other aid as well. But that was the discussion largely today in the framing. But you could see the tension there and the awkwardness between President Zelenskyy and former President Donald Trump, especially when Trump was talking about his relationship with Putin and how close of a relationship they had during Trump's first administration. So this is the one issue, though, or one of the issues, rather, I should say, that really will be impacted by the results of this election. There's two very clearly different paths that each administration could take, so it's notable to see that all today.
Okay, Olivia Rinaldi there, who signaled taking some hits as the former president is expected to give a speech in Walker, which is known as a purple county. Much more to come on that. Don't forget to join us on Tuesday for live coverage of the CBS News vice presidential debate, co-moderated by Norah O'Donnell and Margaret Brennan. We're going to have special coverage, starting with a special edition of America Decides at 4 p.m. Eastern right here on CBS News 24/7.